Pretzels, 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 pretzels. Hello again, and stop! Hammer time! No, I'm just kidding. I just want to stop everything and point out that I'm really awesome right now. Yeah. Right? You see, ever since I started doing video, I've had a few requests that come in every once in a while for me to wear one of these things. Also in the color red. Honestly, I can't really tell you why, because I don't know myself, but I figured, it couldn't hurt. But I was a little bit concerned in looking, I don't know, girly. And I'll have you know that Ninten is a man. Even so, I thought I would do some research. I wanted to know who in the great history of our land wore these things. As it turns out, they were worn by none other than cowboys! One was also worn by Fred in the animated series Scooby-Doo, but that was an ascot, not a bandana, so I don't think it applies as the same thing. But knowing that cowboys wore these things, man, that makes me like 10 times cooler than I already was. Which means all of you at home who are trying to beat me in coolness can actually now officially give up. Honestly, I didn't know anything about cowboys other than they shot red people. And I certainly had no reason to cause bodily harm to my sunburnt Aunt Mildred. So I looked at some other factors people don't always seem to know. As it turns out, cowboys created the briefcase. This thing! They would skin the hides of cows, bulls, and other animals and then put handles on them using the horns of goats. The briefcases they made were used to hold magical rune stones which controlled entire kingdoms over in Italy. Some of you may be wondering where I got my information, and I can assure you I got it from the best place you could possibly get it. My own mixed up mind. Now in normal circumstances you could probably discredit me with this kind of information. However, I am psychic. Because I am psychic, I can read the minds of others. So I went into a shopping mall and let my mind wander. I learned a whole lot of interesting things. And when I went by the Spencers, I heard a whole lot of words that my mom told me not to say. I'm sure you're very confused as to where this entire thing is going. I'm sure by now you're expecting me to somehow combine the elements and then say something like, think about it. So I'll just go ahead and give you a rundown of what I'm trying to make of all of this. What I'm really trying to say is, I hate Scooby-Doo. That's all I'm really trying to say. I'm sort of divided on the issue because Fred, by wearing an ascot, makes himself 1/4 cowboy. When you do the division of 5 characters, that means that Scooby-Doo, the show, is 1/20th cowboy. That means I want to watch about 1 minute and 6 seconds of the show because it's technically a Western. After learning about cowboys, I've really fallen in love with Western TV shows. I'd be willing to watch Scooby-Doo more often if it had more Western elements. So what I propose that you do to get you involved in the video in some way is to leave comments that, number 1, explain how Scooby-Doo the animated series could be a better Western using Western elements, and number 2, how Scooby-Doo could be transformed into a horse. Alternatively, you could have Shaggy be the horse and have Scooby ride Shaggy, but then that would be an animal riding another animal, which is something I'm not allowed to talk about on YouTube. Or for that matter, anything riding anything. Unless it's a man in a taxi cab. And the taxi driver's name is Shoe. So please don't mention anything about taxi driver's name Shoe because that will bring back horrible memories of a time I had in 2006. So tell me about Scooby-Doo! Woo!